The sea was calm until the water suddenly began spinning in a perfect circle.
Sailors thought it was just another storm, but the instruments said otherwise.
A massive transport ship was heading straight toward the strange phenomenon.
The captain ordered a course change, yet the ocean ignored the command. Beneath them, thousands of tons of water were rotating like a giant drain.
Within minutes, the vessel lost control of its direction completely.
The crew realized this was not a storm, but a forming ocean vortex.
Engines roared at full power, fighting a force larger than the ship itself.
Every second pulled them closer to the spinning center.
A distress signal was transmitted across international emergency channels.
Nearby vessels were warned to stay away from the dangerous waters.
But this giant ship had nowhere left to escape. The ocean began pulling the bow downward toward the rotating center.
Then the Coast Guard finally received the emergency call.
Rescue helicopters were launched immediately into the darkening sky.
Pilots could already see the storm forming far out on the horizon.
The whirlpool had now grown wider than the length of the ship.
Waves spiraled inward like a giant moving staircase of water.
Crew members secured ropes and emergency gear across the deck.
The ship's bow slammed repeatedly into rising, rotating waves.
The captain switched to manual control, hoping to stabilize direction.
But the ocean kept rotating faster with unstoppable force.
The rescue helicopters pushed through heavy winds, approaching the location.
From the air, the pilots saw the unbelievable scale of the vortex.
The vessel was now rotating along with the water itself.
Deck containers began sliding dangerously toward one side.
Waves struck the sides like repeated hammer blows of water.
Rescue teams prepared winches and harnesses for evacuation.
Time was running out as the vortex deepened beneath the ship.
The first rescue helicopter hovered carefully above the rolling deck.
Crew members struggled to stand as the ship tilted unpredictably.
A rescue diver was lowered slowly toward the moving vessel. The vortex pulled water downward, creating a deep, hollow center.
Officers began evacuating injured sailors first.
The helicopter cable swung violently in the strong air currents.
Every rotation dragged the ship closer toward the center.
Pilots maintained position with extreme precision above the chaos.
The first sailor was lifted safely into the rescue aircraft.
Another wave crashed over the bow, flooding the forward deck.
Communication lines kept breaking due to electrical interference.
More rescue teams arrived as the situation became critical. The ship leaned further, signaling structural danger ahead. Cracks echoed through the hull as pressure built from every side.
The captain ordered full evacuation before total loss of control.
Sailors formed lines, guiding each other across the slippery deck.
The Vortex center grew darker, like a hole in the sea.
Another group of sailors prepared for immediate extraction.
A sudden surge spun the ship faster than before.
One container broke free, sliding toward the rail.
Rescue teams adjusted position to avoid falling debris.
The ship's stern dipped dangerously low into the water.
Pilots fought crosswinds to maintain hover stability.
Each rescue took longer as the rotation intensified.
Water began pouring into lower compartments rapidly.
The rescue mission entered its most dangerous phase.
Inside the ship, alarms echoed through flooding metal corridors.
The engine room crew abandoned their stations as water rose quickly.
Outside, waves circled faster, like a tightening spiral trap.
A rescue diver signaled for the final evacuation group.
The deck tilted sharply, forcing everyone to grab the rails.
Another helicopter joined to speed up the operation.
The vortex now reached deeper than the ship's height.
A massive wave crashed across the entire deck. One sailor slipped, but was secured by his safety harness.
Pilots coordinated lifts with perfect timing between gusts. The ship's lights flickered as power systems failed.
The bow dipped closer to the rotating center than ever before.
Only a handful of crew remained awaiting extraction.
Beneath them, the sea roared like a spinning waterfall.
One by one, they were lifted into the air, above the chaos.
The captain refused to leave until everyone else was safe. The vessel rotated faster than rescue teams predicted.
Helicopter pilots adjusted position to avoid collision.
The deck began dipping closer toward the swirling center.
The last injured sailor was lifted aboard successfully.
Only the captain and 2 officers remained on board.
Water rushed across the deck as waves overtook the railings.
The helicopter lowered the cable for the captain.
A sudden drop pulled the ship downward several meters. The officers grabbed the line as the deck shook violently.
The captain took one last look at his ship.
He signaled the pilot and attached his harness calmly.
The final lift began, just as the bow dipped again.
The captain cleared the deck moments before a powerful surge hit.
Seconds later, the entire front section plunged into the vortex.
Helicopters pulled away to maintain safe distance from suction.
From above, they watched the ship fight its final moments. The stern rose high as the front was dragged downward.
Metal structures bent under unimaginable water pressure. Debris began circling rapidly around the collapsing vessel. The crew watched silently from inside the rescue aircraft.
The ship tilted nearly vertical inside the spinning sea.
Only the stern remained visible above the surface. Then the ocean finally consumed the entire vessel.
A massive wave burst outward from the collapsing vortex.
Rescue teams maintained watch for survivors in the water.
The whirlpools slowly weakened after the vessel disappeared below.
Rescue teams searched the surrounding waters for any missing crew.
Emergency boats were deployed to collect floating survivors.
Rain began falling as the storm moved across the area.
The captain coordinated rescue efforts from inside the aircraft.
One sailor waved from a drifting raft in the distance.
A rescue swimmer jumped into the cold water immediately.
They secured survivors and lifted them safely into the helicopter.
Medical teams treated injuries during the return flight.
The storm clouds finally began breaking apart above the sea. Only scattered debris marked where the giant ship once sailed.
Investigators recorded the exact coordinates of the disaster.
The vortex faded, leaving ripples across the ocean surface.
Rescue teams confirmed every crew member had been recovered. The mission ended with no lives lost, despite the destruction.
Hours later, investigators returned to study the unusual ocean event. Instruments were lowered to measure underwater currents and depth.
Data showed powerful rotating currents far below the surface.
The sea floor revealed shifting sediment patterns beneath them. The vortex had formed rapidly, with almost no warning signs.
Maritime authorities reviewed communication recordings carefully.
The crew's quick response prevented a greater tragedy.
Rescue coordination was praised across international agencies.
The captain later described the event as overwhelming force.
Experts compared it to a temporary ocean sinkhole phenomenon.
Weather satellites showed unusual patterns above the water.
The incident became one of the rarest maritime cases recorded.
Yet the sea returned to calm, as if nothing happened.
News of the incident spread quickly across the world.
Analysts studied how such a massive vessel was overpowered.
Simulations recreated the moment the vortex formed beneath the hull.
Experts warned ships to monitor unusual circular currents carefully.
Safety guidelines were updated for future navigation routes.
The rescued crew reunited with families at the harbor. The captain thanked every rescuer who risked their life.
Investigators closed the case after confirming natural causes.
The lost vessel remained deep beneath the ocean floor. Marine life slowly returned to the silent wreck site. The event became a lesson in the power of nature. Sailors remembered how quickly calm seas can change.
Maritime training programs included the disaster in education. The ocean kept its mystery hidden beneath the surface.
Months later, researchers continued studying deep ocean currents there. Sensors recorded strong rotating flows far below normal depth.
Scientists believed underground terrain shaped the violent motion.
The region was marked permanently on global maritime charts.
Passing ships now slowed while crossing those coordinates.
Weather monitoring stations were installed nearby for safety.
The rescue mission became a case study worldwide.
Pilots explained how precise hovering saved every life on board.
And more reflexes.
Survivors often recalled the spinning sea in interviews.
Others remembered the sudden silence after rescue ended.
The captain later returned to sea, commanding another vessel.
He said experience teaches respect for unpredictable waters.
Maritime communities shared the story for future generations.
The disaster remained unforgettable for everyone involved.
A really lonely sea. Years passed, but sailors still spoke about the spinning ocean.
The coordinate became a well-known warning among captains.
Ships now changed course long before reaching the area.
Oceanographers continued monitoring deep current activity there.
Data confirmed unusual underwater rotations still appeared occasionally.
The rescue mission was remembered as perfect coordination.
Every crew member survived because time was not wasted.
The captain credited teamwork rather than luck that day.
Training programs adopted the event as emergency procedure model.
The lost ship remained untouched in deep darkness below. Marine life slowly made the wreck its new habitat. Nature hides enormous power beneath a calm appearance.
Mariners learned to respect warning signs in the water.
Technology improved to detect dangerous currents earlier.
Satellites now watch oceans every hour of every day.
The story became part of maritime safety history forever.
Survivors still remember the moment water began spinning.
They said the sea sounded alive beneath the hull. And then, everything changed within a few terrifying minutes. Courage and discipline kept panic from spreading on board.
Rescue pilots flew closer than regulations normally allow.
Their precision turned disaster into survival.
The ocean eventually calmed, as if nothing happened. But the memory remained stronger than the storm itself.
Sailors now tell the story to every new recruit.
Respect the sea, because it never truly sleeps.
Even calm water can hide unstoppable forces below.
And that day proved nature always has the final word.